Hey guys, got a new video going here, and this is about the spot where you'd expect me to be doing something silly. Well, this is a group build that is serious, so I thought I'd keep it serious. Gonna be my entry video for King Bob's Cancer Awareness group build. And after the drop, get into it a little bit more. So if you've been watching this channel a while, you've heard me kind of make mention here and there of me having cancer and going through chemo and more recently some specialized radiation called CyberKnife. Going back a ways, 2018, I was a practicing general surgeon, and hit age 50, decided to practice what I preach, and I got my screening colonoscopy. I had also been having some symptoms, and without getting into too many details, I went to apply a rectal cream to myself, and like the night before I started the prep for the colonoscopy, and I felt it. So I diagnosed myself. And so I had the colonoscopy, confirmed it was a rectal cancer, and I underwent chemo and radiation treatments for about 6 weeks. Then I went to what was supposed to be my pre-op visit, and what do you know, chemo and radiation had totally taken care of the cancer. I had what was called a complete clinical response. So we watched it very, very carefully for 2 years, and one of the things I knew was that at 2 years, that if it was going to come back after a complete response like I had, it would come back same place and within 2 years. Well, at just over 2.5 years, had a repeat colonoscopy, all clean. Then I had my 2.5 year CT, and at 2.5 years had my repeat CT of chest, abdomen, and pelvis. I had a mass in the pelvis wrapping around my ureter, and some lung nodules, some of which were hot on PET scan. Took a while, finally got a biopsy of the mass, and yep, it was rectal cancer again. I also had a stent placed to keep the urine flowing from the kidney into the bladder. So chemo again, and what do you know, after I was done with the chemo, no sign of cancer. So I'd beaten it twice. Then about 18 months later, find a new mass on pelvis, and so I go through same kind of start on the same kind of chemo I'd been on before. It the tumor was growing, try a new chemo, still growing, and then get the bright idea, hey, let's use CyberKnife. Well, we do the CyberKnife and it starts shrinking. At the 3-month afterwards chemo, or 3-month CT scan, I'll pause, let the mower get quiet again. It starts shrinking. Shortly after that, we get another CT 3-4 months later. Mass seems to be shrinking, but something doesn't look right in the bones. And then eventually figure out that, yeah, the soft tissue mass may be shrinking, but it does seem to be growing into different areas, and it's now invaded the bone. So just recently I started yet a different kind of chemo, and also underwent the CyberKnife radiation treatments again. And I am feeling pretty good, just very, very sleepy through the day. And one of the things I'd been suffering from was pain in my foot, and the CyberKnife treatments have helped that tremendously. I mentioned the chemo. I have not really had much of an issue of the nausea and vomiting that a lot of the people complain of with chemo treatments. Also, I've kept my hair, and in fact, growing my mullet is a big double middle finger to cancer. My wife has at some point said, "You make it look so easy." And I am so thankful that the chemotherapy has been so easy to take for me. I don't know if that's just me or having a positive can-do attitude. Through my first two, my original cancer and my first recurrence, I missed a whopping total of 1 day of work. I will say that during the first recurrence, I was on a 1 week on, 1 week off work schedule, and the having the chemo treatments on my week of not working made it possible. I probably would have missed more work if I had been on a regular, 7-day a week, every week schedule, or well, at least 5 days a week work schedule. And so, and one of the other things I like to say quite frequently, it's going to be hard. I'm probably the world's happiest stage 4 cancer patient you'll ever see. Yeah, I'm a stage 4, believe it or not. It really not the cancer all over the body type stage 4, but with the first recurrence and the second recurrence, even though it's like one spot, because of that spot being in a different location, it's technically a stage 4. So that's kind of my background. So now on to the model. All right. So this is the model I chose. It's going to be my first of many Salvino's NASCAR kits. Wife and I have really gotten into NASCAR quite a bit, and Kyle Busch is my favorite driver. And I decided to do this car because that is kind of a medium blue color, and medium blue is the color of the colon cancer ribbon. And another reason I picked this Salvino's, they've designed them like for people who, for NASCAR fans, to maybe who haven't really been into modeling, to pick one up at the races. Apparently they sell them at the races, but they're molded in the color of the car, so that you don't necessarily have to paint them. And so to make this one kind of a quick build, I plan not to paint it and just use paint the interior but not the body, just in the interest of time, since it's a group build and I'm getting into it a little bit late. Another thing I plan to do is paint the window net pink. Something I didn't mention in the introduction is the lovely lady Lisa, my wife, the one who kind of is affecting the audio with the mower. Almost the same day that I went in to have my CT scans that showed my first recurrence, she had gone in for a biopsy of area that was abnormal on her mammograms and an ultrasound, and turns out, yep, she had breast cancer. Hey, her story is even better than mine. She had a really, really tiny lesion, so she had it operated on and underwent some radiation therapy to the area. And also hers was very, very small. Basically caught it at a stage where it would have been just barely a cancer. So I'm going to do the window netting pink in honor of her breast cancer. And also mentioning her, if I can figure out how to put a link up here in one of the corners, I'll do that. Or I'll put a link to the video I did thanking her as kind of a Mother's Day and birthday tribute to her last year. So this is the first I'm looking into the box. And here it is. That's a pretty close match on the body color. And so, yeah, I can feel mold seam line. We'll kind of have to chase that down and get it sanded. And get that sanded and probably put like a little clear coat on it before the decals. And then get things, get the inside assembled, paint some of the interior pieces. And I'm gonna, depending on how the time goes, I will either make a window net from Tamiya tape, or I'll just use the kit part, but that's going to be pink. So that's my intro video, and I'll be showing some update and final complete build videos later, or depending on how things go, it might be just a completion video at the end. Well, that's it for now. Showing you, and in this case, telling you about mine to make you feel better about yours. And one final thing, if you're age 45 or older and you haven't, get a colonoscopy, or if you have no risk factors, they now have the Cologuard, which is pretty good. In my experience, people who had Cologuards, over 9 times out of 10, if that was positive. When I did a colonoscopy on the people who had a positive Cologuard, well over 90% of them had polyps. The way I used to explain it to patients, if colon cancer is a rattlesnake, polyps are the eggs. The egg ain't dangerous by itself, but the problem is what it could hatch and grow up into. I'm now just with the way this newer chemo is knocking me out, I'm now on long-term disability, and it's probably going to end up being an early retirement, but you know, that's still the general surgeon in me telling you, get your colonoscopy, get screened one way or another. You know, find it when it's still early enough to do something about it. In fact, here within the modeling community, last year we lost Boyd of TrekWorks to colorectal cancer, and I'm doing my best not to follow in his footsteps. Okay guys, talk to you later.